G'day, Jono Brake here, coming to you with another round of Monday Myth Check. And we're continuing the conversation around purpose for the next few weeks, where we're going to be talking about leadership myths around purpose. And today, I want to talk to you about this concept of busyness is evidence of activity, or that if I'm busy, I must be fulfilling my purpose. Okay. I want to really just hang around this for a minute, because I think we're all guilty of this. This is the sort of thing that causes leadership drift if we don't pay attention to it. But there is activity that has to take place to fulfill our purpose. And so what I come across a lot is leaders who, like you say, how you going? And you go, good, I'm busy. And it's almost like a society thing today to wear busyness as a badge of honor, to feel like if we're doing stuff, then we're being purposeful, that we're getting things done. Now, there's a little bit of truth in that, of course, but at the end of the day, it doesn't mean it's purposeful. One of the things I see is there's a lot of people doing a lot of activity. There's a lot of things going on. But when you sort of say, well, okay, what is it that's really important? What's purposeful here? I don't see the right answers. I don't hear the right answers coming from those people. So let's have a think about this for a moment. You want to look at your calendar. Just go and have a look at it this week and say, look at all the things on your calendar, all the meetings, your emails, however you schedule yourself, whether you have time set aside for strategic thinking and other things like that. Have a look at your calendar and based on what you see on that calendar, answer this question. What's important to you? What's purposeful to you? And if you think you know what your purpose is, tell me from your calendar, am I achieving my purpose by fulfilling everything I have to do this week? Now, that doesn't mean that every single thing on that calendar has a purpose, right? But it might be moving towards your purpose. What I'm saying is that most of us will fill up our weeks with stuff we just got to do, phone calls we've got to return, client engagements we've got to make, things we just need to do. Sometimes it's the time wasters, the things we need to delegate out, all of these sorts of things. And I want you just to understand that just because you're busy, just because you're doing a bunch of stuff that may even feel like it's going in the right direction, does not mean that you're fulfilling your purpose. And it's interesting to think about this. Andy Stanley, a great leadership coach and pastor, he said, your direction, not your intention, determines your destination. Okay? Having a direction, so purpose is the first part, and it's the first thing in our trail markers. Then we talk about, okay, so if I know who I am, why I exist, what are my boundaries of operation, all in the culture that I'm going to create around me and my business, then I can start to determine my strategy, right? So the strategy becomes really important. But at the end of the day, what a lot of people do is they get a sense of, this is what I'm supposed to do, and then they just get about being busy. And so when Andy says, your direction, not your intention, determines your destination, we've got to stop and think about some of this stuff, right? Think about all the good intentions that you have as a leader. There's also another conversation around intention versus action. That we judge others by their actions and we judge ourselves by our intentions. We intend to do these. I know I get into this trap all the time. And so this idea that I can turn my intentions into action becomes very, very important, right? So what we're saying here is for purpose to truly, or for activity to truly be purposeful, there's got to be an intention behind it. There's got to be a reason for it before it can become purposeful. So think about some of the things that you might be putting off: spending more time with your family, maybe developing your team a little bit more, investing into your team, getting to know them personally, thinking strategically, investing in your relationship with God, if that's important to you, building the business you want to build. But all these things are really important. But at the end of the day, they can also become distractions and get in the way. Intentions don't shape your future, direction does, okay? So when we start to think about this concept of purpose, purpose is very intentional. Purpose then determines the things we're going to do next. As we say, the forge leader knows who they are and what they're going to do next, right? So there's this journey. There's an identity piece, what then becomes a purpose, that then becomes the things that we do. And so it's really important to understand that our intentions don't shape the future, but direction will. And so we've got to think about it like this. So to just say, because I'm busy, I'm fulfilling my purpose is not correct. I want us to think about this. As I've already said to you today, go and have a look at your calendar. Maybe go and have a look at it over a month. Maybe 1 week, you might have been very purposeful this week. Or maybe this has prompted you to be purposeful. Have a look at your calendar. Be honest about where you're at. If you're really struggling to think about this, how do I kind of put all this together? That's what our trial markers really help you do. That we need to understand that purpose is something that must feed an intentionality. It must come from intentionality as well. It doesn't happen by accident, and it certainly doesn't happen through busyness and just being busy thinking, I'm doing stuff, so I must be fulfilling my purpose. First-hand experience on this one from Jono. I'm Jono Brake as always. Enjoy the journey.